Hi everybody, I'm Stefan for cgtutsplus.com, and in this tutorial we are going to create this cool and stylish 3D animation. And basically the idea of this animation is to make a nice, interesting countdown, as you can see, with a nice gold core and black on the front of the numbers, letters, and so on. So let's start first of all by creating the cgtutsplus logo, a few titles, and probably the numbers, just to show you the basic idea, and after that you can follow along. So let's open our cgtutsplus logo, and let's leave this checkbox like so and hit OK. And basically this is our logo. So let's center it, and let's group our letters and rename them. So this is C and this is the G, so we need to select both of these and choose connect objects plus delete, so we have a single object. So CG, and let's see, this is tutsplus. So again, let's just connect objects plus delete, and let's name this tutsplus, and let's select this and make the same. So this is our CG frame, and this is our tutsplus frame, and this is our main frame. And basically we can select the CG and tutsplus and connect them into a single object. And let's take all this, delete this null object, and start extruding the letters. So hold down Alt and click and hold down the mouse button and choose extrude NURBS. This way this automatically will make the selected spline a child of the extrude NURBS object, and it's going to extrude the letters. So as you can see, we have some extrusion going on already. And let's come to the object and extrude this a bit more, like so. And let's repeat this with the main frame as well, and make it like so. And let's see, we have to select our cgtutsplus and move it probably -20, so the letters will pop out from our base frame. And for the CG frame we are going to extrude this one as well. So make the extrusion by default, which is 20, it's okay, and come to the coordinates and make this probably -10 or -5. So it's just a bit extruded, and we have to scale this to 0.95 probably, so it's a bit smaller. And we are going to repeat the same step for the tutsplus frame. So hold down Alt and choose the extrude NURBS, and let's rename this so we have a better idea. And for the touch pose frame, let's see, set it to -5 and 2.95 for the scale of the spline. And this is the best part about it, we can scale and modify things very easily. And let's select the CG touch pose title and probably set this to -30. Come to the caps and set affiliate cap for our title and hit constrain so it doesn't expand and become so big, and set the radius to 3 and set the steps to 3 as well. And let's render it to see how it looks like. It looks good. And let's come to the coordinates of the CG frame and let's set this to -10 or -15. And repeat this step for the touch pose frame as well, and select the title and set this to -35. And probably come to the main extrude frame and set this to 50 or 60. And now let's start making the fillet caps for the touch pose frame. Come to the caps, fillet cap, set the constraint checkbox, click it, set the radius to 3 and the steps to 4, so we have a nice smooth edge, as you can see. And repeat this for the CG frame as well, so let's set this to 3 and 4, looks good. And come to the main frame, come to the caps, constraint 3 and 3. So basically this is our CG touch pose logo, and now we need to put some of this into a connect object so they reflect better our environment. So come to CG touch pose logo, hold on Alt, click right here and choose connect. This way the letters become rounded in front, the front part of the letters become rounded and they reflect better. And basically you can achieve the same result using the MoGraph fracture object. You can set this to export segments and connect, and basically the result is going to be completely the same. So I'm going to use the connect object for this case, and I'm going to apply this to the CG touch pose, the CG frame and the touch pose frame in order to have better reflections. And now it's time to create our environment. So let's delete this one. And for the environment, first of all we are going to create a floor object, and let's come to the, let's select all of our objects for the CG touch pose logo and hit Alt G to group them in a single group. And let's come to the top view and hit L to go into the axis mode so we can move the pivot point of the object. And let's see, let's move it around here in the middle of the object, and come into the front view and move it right into the center. Probably set this to 0 and this one to 0 as well. So our pivot point is completely in the center. Hit L again to come into object mode, and let's select our 4, and in the right view, for example, let's move it just like so. And if we do a render, this is what we have. And it's time to create some shaders for our text in the 4. So let's create 3 shaders. Let's call this one 4, and come to the color channel, come to the texture and choose gradient. Click on gradient and choose to the circular, and make the center almost completely white, and the other part kind of a grayish off-white color. And let's put this on the 4, and if we do a render, you can see kind of a tiling effect, which we don't want. So click on the shader and come to the projection, and from flat let's change it to frontal. This way we have our shading, but we also want this type of infinite like a studio, and there are a few ways to do that. One of the ways is to come to the right view, for example, and let's take a Bezier spline and just set some points and draw a shape and extrude it and make it like a studio, and put the same shader on it. And this is one way to achieve this result, but I'm not going to do that in this case. Just I'm going to use a background, put the same shader on the background, select the 4, right click, Cinema 4D tags, and choose a compositing tag, and click the checkbox for compositing background. And this way we have this kind of infinite background for that everything is one color. And let's hit Ctrl B to open our render settings and set the aspect ratio to 16:9. And now let's create a camera, and let's turn it on and reset the coordinates. So we have to face the logo like so, and probably distance should be like this. And let's rename this to logo. And now let's create another shader, and let's call it goat for our goat material. Come to the core and basically choose kind of a golden core, probably like so. Something like that. And come to the come to core and copy, and come to the reflection and paste the same core, and set the brightness for the reflection to 100%. Actually leave it by default as it is. Come to the texture, use the Fresnel texture, and set the mix strength to 50%. And this is it for our goat material. Let's create another one, and let's rename it to black gloss. Come to the core, set it to black, of course, or maybe just a bit of black, like so. Come to the reflection channel, hit the reflection, set the brightness to 10%, and use a Fresnel texture and set the mix strength to 25%, and we are ready with this shader. So let's see how our logo was textured. So basically we have the main frame, which is gold, and we have the black, which is on the front cap. So on the selection, just type C1 for cap 1, and this is going to apply for the front cap. So if we select our logo and rotate it, you can see that the side is golden and the front is black, and we are going to do the same for the, let's see, for the TUTPOS frame. So just hold down Control and move these shaders here, and the same for the CG frame, like so, and the letters, basically the same thing for the letters. And this is our CG TUTPOS logo. So now let's animate the logo. Select the logo, just reset the rotation, come to the first frame and rotate it -90 degrees, and let's set a keyframe, move, let's see, 10 frames forward, and set this to -35, set a keyframe, move to frame 40 and set this to 35, set a keyframe, move to frame 50 and set this to 90, and again set a keyframe. And now hit Shift F3 to bring up the timeline, and let's come to the rotation, select the curve for the rotation, and as you can see, it's not a linear, and in our case we want a linear curve. So you can either go into curve mode and fix that there, select the rotation, select the curve, right click and choose linear, or come into the keyframe mode and just click this right here, and the curve will be linear, as you can see. So let's close this and set the duration of our work area of the timeline to 50, and this is our rotation, as you can see. And for the whitening, we are going to use the a global illumination, also Control B, and come to Effect, Ambient Occlusion, and global illumination. Set the anti-aliasing to 1:1, 4:4 for this case, and hit Ctrl R to render. And as you can see, we need to turn off the global illumination because we don't have anything that lights our scene at this point. And as you can see, this is how our logo looks like. And I'm going to use, originally I used the Grayscale Gorilla HDRI Studio Pack using his rig. Let's double click on the HDRI Studio rig and open some of the studios, and probably I'm going to use this one of my favorites, the 3 Softboxes Studio One. Drop it here, come to the scene HDRI Studio rig controls and turn off scene by camera, come to the object and just first of all enable global illumination. And for the still image, this is okay. Let's see, it's going to render in a second. As you can see, the render goes fast, and probably you may want to turn on the anti-aliasing and turn it up, I mean, for the final render. And if you're doing an animation, you need to use IR plus QMC full animation, because our objects in the scene move. And if you have, for example, an interior scene where everything is static and only the camera moves, the camera animation will work in this case, but in our case we need to choose the full animation, which takes some time to calculate some pre-passes before it starts the actual rendering. And basically this is it. And let's close the render settings. And for the logo, if you want to have the option to extract only the logo without the background later on, you can come to Cinema 4D tags and choose the compositing tag, and come to object buffer and enable object buffer 1, and then come to the render settings and come to multipass, select object buffer, group ID 1, and come to the multipass, just enable it, come to save, and as you can see you have a multipass image, and this is for the object buffer. Now you need to choose the output location and you're ready to render that. And let's close this. And basically it's the same if we have some letters, so let's hold down Alt and double click to hide this, and let's create a simple text spline, and let's type, for example, 10, and come to our font menu and let's choose the font that I originally used for my countdown. So I think the font was this one. Yep, it's this. And let's increase the height to 400 and just move it just like so, and drop on extrude NURB, set the extrusion to 50, and let's set the fillet caps to 4 maybe, and the steps to 4 as well, and come to the top view. And when you do this kind of animation, you want to come to the axis mode by hitting L and just move this right here in the center, and hit L again to come back into the object mode, and just take the textures, hold down Control and move them here. And as you can see, this is how our text looks like, and we can rotate it like so. And one thing that you can do is to come to the extrude NURBS and set the subdivision from 1 to 8, for example, or 5. This will add more subdivisions and solve some smoothing problems that may be caused by the connect object or things like that. So let's render this one to see how it looks like, and let's hit Alt R to activate the interactive render region, and come to the extrude NURBS and set the subdivisions to 0. As you can see, this makes difference. If we set this to 10, it fixes some issues. So this is it. Basically, if you animate this, you need to come to the first frame, set this to 30 frames, Alt R to turn off the interactive render region, set this to, let me see, set this to negative 90. Doesn't work for some reason, so just set a keyframe, it should work. I just make something wrong maybe, and move 5 frames forward, set this to negative 60, set a keyframe, move to frame 25 and set this to 60. Oops, negative 60, set this to probably 0, set a keyframe, and at the end it should be 60, and set a keyframe. And after that, very easily in After Effects you can just after you render this sequence, you can come to the text and the object, set this to 9 for example, and render it, and in After Effects you can combine them and create a nice smooth transition like me here, as you can see. And you can also add some type of a flare like this, and basically there is nothing too hard in the compositing of this. I just added a bit, just a tiny bit of contrast, maybe a bit of noise and grain, and the flares, and basically that's it. That's the tutorial. Hope it was useful for you and interesting, and you can apply these simple steps to create maybe type of presentation titles which present some facts by rotating them that way. It's very clean and stylish, and you can type your information and it will be easily readable and will good. So that's it for me. Once again, I'm Stefan for cgtutsplus.com, and we will see you next time.